Hey, Kevin Selly in the Weather Center here. Thought we'd fire up a stream since we do have a tornado warning in the area. That's going to be for Ochiltree County, and take the timing there with a grain of salt. It's a little bit of a coding area between between Central Time and Mountain Time. So that's officially in effect until 7:30. That storm is southeast or southeast of Perryton and developing away from town. So in Perryton, even though your app or your weather radio or any of your notification things that might have gone off, you're not going to be affected by this storm. It is moving away from town. It will develop near and probably just to the east of where it says Wolf Creek Park there. We're going to continue to watch that. That's just a little spot there where you can go and little lake, so no homes there that I know of anyway. So, but that will continue moving southeastward toward that area. Let's do a little, if I can get to the computer, we'll do a little tour here. A couple of other things going on just south of that warning. You see a new cell there just outside of the red polygon. That's a new cell that's developing and strengthening. It will do a couple of things. It may actually briefly enhance, but also disrupt the rotation of that main storm cell. So we'll look for new areas of rotation. I don't see anything like that at this point in time, but the potential is there, but it is still out in open country. Now, what's next in line? That's going to be Canadian and areas south of, southwest, let's say, of Glazer. I'll go back out a little bit further. You can see the Canadian River there, so it's still north of the river. The trend has been for these to peak and then weaken a little bit, so we're going to watch that. The atmosphere is a little untested and unstable in the northeastern portion of the region, and I'll get you to the severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect here in just a couple of minutes. But again, right now, that storm's southeast of Perryton and moving away from town, so good news there. Let's do a little tour. I want to go back up to another storm that's actually in Oklahoma that we've been watching. It's also a tornado warned storm. Now it does drop down into the tornado warning does drop down into the extreme northern portion or northwestern portion of Ellis County. Again, largely out in open country, but that rotation is not officially in our area other than that little clipping of Ellis County, since we do cover some of that area. We drill down on that one. The rotation signature is just south of Laverne there. And as we drill down, so along really either side of Highway 270 south of Laverne into Ellis County, you want to be watching there. Are you waiting for me, or are you just hanging out?
Oh, I was just going to give this some time to you.
Okay, thanks. Let's go back and check some other storms. We had a couple go through Dalhart and produce some golf ball size hail a little earlier. There's another one approaching town. If you're not getting rain just yet, you can see it's just on the north side of town, so that's going to come through, but it is also weakening. So a brief gust of wind, a couple of pea-sized hailstones, probably not out of the question there, but I think that one will continue to weaken. It is getting into a more stable atmosphere, and so we shouldn't have too many problems with that one. Pardon me. Can't shake this cold. It's been about 2 weeks, and I bet a lot of you are in the same boat who are watching. Okay, so let's go back to our tornado warned storm. That's in Ochiltree County again, right there, southeast of Perryton. The banner there where it says tornado warning, there's a little, see it says MST, that's Mountain Standard Time. That's a little coding error on that one that we haven't quite figured out on the computer, and I apologize for that, but that's until 7:30, so technically another 25 minutes. The storm is showing some signs of, well, brief signs of decreasing in intensity, just a little bit, but you can kind of see new cells developing around it. And the atmosphere from Perryton through Lipscomb and Glazer, Canadian, basically the northeastern portion of the region, is a little bit more unstable. So these may actually continue to strengthen a little bit or increase in coverage as we go on through the next couple of hours. The broader view, let me get you back to our severe thunderstorm watch. If the computer catches up. There we go. So northern two-tier of counties, not for Dallam and Hartley County, but the Texas Panhandle, northern two-tier of counties, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until midnight tonight. And then, of course, Texas and Beaver counties. Those are under the severe thunderstorm watch. That, again, until midnight tonight. Don't think it will last quite that long for most of those regions. I want to do some checking on TV. Thanks to Gabe for bringing me some times. This is what I'm looking at here is for TV cut-in times, and they give me the break times in the show. Would you let them know, Sierra? Let's try for the 21 break at this point. All right. So we're just going to continue to watch. Actually, what I might do is, no, not at this moment. I'm going to check on a couple of things as you watch this, but I'm just going to be quiet for a minute or two while I kind of look at the various parameters, including the velocity. The velocity signature on that starting to try and show some signs of weakening. Whatever's in there might be embedded right now, meaning rain wrapped, to be tough to see. But you could probably see that on Highway 83 south of Perryton if we got any chasers looking out there. We're checking with the Weather Service as well to see what information they have on this storm. And we're going to try and do a TV cut in here just to let folks at home know what's going on. But largely, we're blessed by the fact that this is out in open country at this particular moment. Thank you. Okay, as I mentioned, checking in with the Weather Service, you may have noticed if you pay very close attention to these things, it's moving fairly slowly. So they are a little bit concerned about the heavy rain, again, out in open country, but they're going to draw up a flash flood warning for the same area. So we'll see a green box pop in there at some point in time, flash flood warning. Again, largely out in open country, but that's going to be for Ochiltree County. And on radar, it looks like now that has strengthened a little bit. The cell just to the south of where it says Wolf Creek Park, remember I mentioned that one was strengthening a little bit, and there may be a temporary enhancement or strengthening of these cells, but the main thing I'm looking at is the purple coloring. So that's an indication that new updrafts are forming, making the storm stronger and the potential for some hail. In the less stable environment a little earlier, around Dalham County and Dalhart, we had several pictures come in of at least quarter-size hail, and probably a few close to golf ball-size hailstones. This environment under this storm is more unstable, and so would likely support some large hail as well. There would obviously be some strong gusty wind potential with that as well. I'm going to pause this for a second and do a little analysis as we go on the fly. Thanks for joining us here on the streams. I'm going to drill down. Maybe I'll highlight some of the things that we were talking about. This cell here, and then this part right here are the potential hail cores that I was talking about. So from this point on, where we would develop, and this is going to be very, very slowly, but let me just drill down. This is the intersection here, right in the center of your screen, of Highway 23 and 83. So obviously nothing there except the intersection, but I think that's going to be near and probably just west. So we wouldn't want anybody traveling up Highway 83, say from Glacier or Canadian, toward the storm, and you certainly wouldn't want to come southward out of Perryton. You'd be driving into the backside of that storm, which would obviously be a bad idea. But the general development is a south-southeasterly development, and I do think that will continue. So eventually, Canadian will start to pay attention. If you know anybody in Canadian who might not be watching or doesn't have TV on, you let them know, hey, this is still probably at least an hour away. And our hope is that it will weaken a little bit. But the computer models that we've been watching through the afternoon are suggesting that these might actually strengthen a little bit. And one of the things I'm seeing is that hopefully it will move a little bit away from a tornadic situation but it will increase the chance for some very, very heavy rain. Still the potential for some hail and obviously some strong gusty winds. But the flooding potential from Canadian southward may actually be a little bit elevated a little bit later tonight. So once again, tornado warning for Ochiltree County. That's until 7:30, not until 5:30, but 7:30 tonight. It's south of Perryton, largely out in open country. Potential for some flooding is increasing as well, and so a flash flood warning is coming from our friends at the National Weather Service. They're saying now they've taken Perryton out. They've adjusted the polygon, so Perryton, you are now officially out of the tornado warning, but the actual warning continues. And they're observing the same thing we did just a minute ago with their other cells, which may disrupt a little bit, weakening the tornado potential, but then those individual cells may still have some rotation with them. So this could be a situation where a tornado warning might hop a little bit. And again, still out in open country, but they may just jog around. And the storm's looking for its best environment to produce one if it wants to. And so that may hop around a little bit. And a correction, they're not going to do a flash flood warning, which is good news, but a flood advisory. So for a good chunk of Ochiltree County, that'll be what, the eastern, southeastern portions of the county. Flooding is certainly possible. Especially you get that heavy, heavy rain on those flat surfaces, those flat fields and whatnot, and then it's going to run down toward the low spots, including any roadways. So that just reinforces our point about not traveling in that direction. Let me get this looping again so you can get a good idea where it is. You can kind of see there in the northern portion of the picture, Perryton is no longer included in the polygon or the red part, the red box there. Let me turn the radar off. There's the polygon. Doesn't include Perryton. That said, from Perryton to the southeast, the yellow box is a severe thunderstorm warning, but again, that has moved away from your area. So the threat for severe weather in Perryton is pretty low at this point in time. So the new cells that we're talking about, let me go ahead and loop it again, are this one here. This one's sort of merged a little bit, which again does help disrupt the tornadic circulation, but it also may have the effect of temporarily strengthening the storm. So we continue to watch it. Again, our stream, all of our platforms, anybody in Canadian, if you want to let them know, hey, some stuff off to the northwest may be coming. In about 5 or 6 minutes, we'll do a cut-in on TV as well, just to give people an update there. Let's do a quick broader view and kind of check in on the rest of the area. Our storm that's clipping Beaver County, the tornadic rotation is staying away from our area. Thank you for that. But it still could, in fact, it has been just so slowly, ever so slowly, developing to the west. Still not including Beaver County in a warning, but it's not out of the question that that might not come. The rotation is still to the east of the Texas Panhandle, and we're going to continue to watch that for you as well. But Lipscomb County, it's in theory, you could go under a warning, but that's still probably 30, 45 minutes away, given the slow movement of these storms. Okay, broader view, we got the two storms we talked about. There are other ones in northwestern Oklahoma, southern Kansas, but the rest of the region, thankfully, has quieted down a little bit. You see the storm coming toward Dalhart. That one, as I said, has weakened, and the atmosphere in that area is more stable. That's why Dallam and Hartley counties are not included in the severe thunderstorm watch. Southern portion of the region, pretty quiet, should stay that way tonight. Not really worried about any thunderstorm activity, strong thunderstorm activity south of 40 for the next several hours. Now, we get past 9 or 10 o'clock tonight from Shamrock southward, east of Clarendon. It's not out of the question that we might get some storms or those ones to the north developing in that particular region. Okay, I'm going to check on a couple of things. I'm going to put the radar up, and then we'll be on TV in just a minute or two here. All right, for those watching on the stream, we're coming up on a TV cut-in here in just a minute, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, good evening. Want to get you an update here on TV. We've been streaming on all of our platforms, but since there's a tornado warning in effect and the rotational part of that storm is out in open country south of Perryton, so we haven't gone continuous, and I won't unless we get near a populated area, but I wanted to get you a quick update here. We've got the severe thunderstorm watch, and that's all the counties in red. That will go until midnight tonight. It does include parts of the Oklahoma Panhandle and then also into parts of the Texas Panhandle as well. So let's drill down, take a look at what we've got here as far as if we can get the computer. Oh, I'm sorry, the computer will not do this. Let me check it right here. Okay. This storm cell is south of Perryton, moving in a southerly direction. So it will continue to move away from Perryton, but the road out of the highway, out of Perryton toward Wolf Creek Park is going to continue to be under a severe thunderstorm warning as well as a tornado warning. There is also in the purple area, again out in open country, we've got a good bit of, good possibility rather, of some hail. So that's going to be west of 23 and then east of Highway 83. And a new cell is kind of developing. It looks like it's peaked just south of Perryton. So please don't travel south out of Perryton at this point in time because of the potential of that storm moving over the highways. It'll get toward the junction of 83 and also, pardon me, Highway 23. Probably, well, the rain's going to pick up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. So here's the broader view. Canadian, you're not under threat right now. You're not under a warning, but the development is clearly in that direction. And some of the models are suggesting that, yes, that will move toward Canadian and probably west and southwest of Glazer. So let's keep that in mind. We've got a tornado warning just outside of our area. It does clip the northern portion of Ellis County for a storm in Oklahoma that is continuing to develop southward. If that gets into Beaver County or Lipscomb County, we'll, of course, let you know about that. So once again, we are streaming, but we'll continue to keep you posted, and I'll come back for TV here in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us here at News Channel 10. I'm texting Kyle. Oh, was that a control room thing?
No, I had to go into the directions.
That's what I meant. Yeah, yeah. So Brady didn't leave it set. Is that correct? Okay.
It was on black.
Okay.
And Gabriel's gone.
Got it. Well, thank you for figuring that out. Because.
Press your buttons, and if you pop something.
Okay. Let me go back to. Hang on. Okay, I want to check in with you. The National Weather Service is going to let the tornado warning die, which is good news. In fact, you saw maybe the red box just disappeared there for Ochiltree County. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect, but the tornado warning was allowed to expire. This chaotic multicellular complex here has disrupted the tornadic rotation. But I want you to take a look there, Canadian and Glacier. That storm is, well, not too far off from you. It's probably 10, 15 minutes away. So heavy rain and the potential for quarter or golf ball size hail or even a little bigger. Back near Perryton, we had a report of some baseball size hail. So that potential is going to be there. So please be aware of that. If you know anybody in Glacier, Canadian, give them a phone call, let them know. We're going to stop the stream here. And again, if we get another tornado warning or very, very large hail approaches, we'll start it up again. So just a recap, Canadian, Glacier, heavy thunderstorm within the next 30 minutes or less moving into your area. Primary threat, strong gusty winds, and also some maybe quarter to golf ball size hail. A couple of stones might be a little bit bigger than that. Perryton, let me go back northward to you. You are in the clear. The storms have been developing just right on the edge of town, but you're no longer included in a tornado warning, obviously, and you're at the northern edge of that severe thunderstorm warning, but that cell has moved on to the south. So once again, tornado warning done, Perryton okay, storms continuing to move toward Glacier and Canadian. We'll go ahead and stop the stream. We'll have cut-ins on TV as necessary as well, and we thank you for staying with us here at News Channel 10.